What's going on, everybody? It's Adrian from over here at the Pipe Dream, and today, as you probably saw from the title and thumbnail of this video, I'm going to be doing a stream. It's just going to be a traditional constructed, which was let's get this webcam right if I can. A traditional constructed, which is just the rehash name for the constructed event, the competitive constructed, on Magic the Gathering Arena. And I did this over on my other channel. The stream wasn't interrupted, but it is on a blue-white-red deck. I'm going to quickly do kind of a quick deck tech on what this is, because it's a build that I came up with after seeing the, I think it was the World Cup list. It was a creatureless main board, which is kind of the way I like to play my control decks typically. So here's what we have. I'm going to run through the deck list, and then I may explain a little bit about why I've made some of the selections I have. But mostly, and let's make sure this deck isn't the one that was changed for best of one. It's not good. Okay, so starting with 3 Revitalize. Obviously, this is very good when you're playing up against the aggressive matchups in Game 1, specifically Mono Red, which does still see some play on Magic the Gathering Arena. Then we've got 2 Sealaways. Mostly it's very good at dealing with the Danto Vanguard, which is a problem card for blue-white-red. It's a big reason to be able to play black. I think being able to play Moment of Craving is a really good deal when you have to play up against the Danto Vanguards all the time. And although this deck does have a route where it wins with damage, it almost never, the Danto Vanguard decks almost never care that you are winning with damage, because you deal it all at once. So like if they nickel and dime themselves for like 4 or 8, it's not going to matter. So Sail Away is important. Blink of an Eye is kind of a flex card. It's really good for dealing with a permanent you're not quite ready for. That you can counter either on the way back down, or you can like Blink of an Eye something weird up like a Sorcerer Spyglass or something. Very good for utility. A copy of Negate, having 2 mana up after you've played your Teferi on turn 5 to counter Vrask's Contempt is very good. There's a lot of other utility usages for that as well. 2 copies of Search for Azcanta, 1 Lava Coil. The Search for Azcanta is just very good in a creatureless deck. Lava Coil is just stock removal. I've got some in the sideboard as well. 4 Sinister Sabotage. It's harder to cast than Ionize, obviously, in this deck, but the 2 damage is almost irrelevant, but the Surveil 1 is priceless. The ability to make sure you hit all your land drops up to 6, 7, 8 mana is very important in this deck. A copy of Fight with Fire is good removal, and you're going to see that we have a little package that lets us kill our opponent with Fight with Fire in one of 2 ways. 3 Deafening Clarions. I want to play 4, but there's no room in the main deck. I am playing a 61 card main deck right now to fit some stuff in there that I wanted to, and I didn't really want to make any cuts to make a concession for playing 60 cards. So we did it that way. 1 copy of Ixalan's Binding. There are more on the sideboard. It's a pretty utility card. Very good in these creatureless control decks for dealing with problem permanents that you may not be able to deal with otherwise, especially on the main board, because we have Star of Extinction, but those aren't in the deck until we sideboard. Copy of Settle the Wreckage. 3 Chemist's Insight. Some people have moved to 4. I think that's too many. A single copy of Cleansing Nova in the main deck, and then there's the Mirari Conjecture. This combos very well with Fight with Fire. It also lets you use your Fight with Fire early to remove, and then buy it back from the graveyard, and then you can either copy it with your Expansion Explosion and kick it, or you can just copy it with the third appearance of this saga. I'm not sure what they call it. These counters, lore counters. The 3rd lore counter of this enchantment Planeswalker is functionally what it is. Then 4 copies of Teferi, Hero Dominaria. It's just the best card in the deck. The main reason to play a deck like this. 3 Syncopate. We typically go down at least one when we're on the draw. But when we're on the play, Syncopate is an awesome resource. And 3 Expansion Explosion, and this is just one of our ways to gain overwhelming card advantage, obviously, but also it kills our opponent when paired with Fight with Fire, or you can just pair sometimes Expansion Explosion with the Mirari Conjecture and kill your opponent that way too. So it works out very well. The mana base is a little bit different than a lot of the blue-red mana bases we've seen before, because I'm not playing Niv Mizzet or Crackling Drake in the main. So I get to play Arch of Orska and Field of Ruin as one-ofs. The mana is a little tricky in this deck, so we do only play 2 colorless lands. And then we're playing 3 islands and 1 plains, just so I can get the plains with Field of Ruin, or I can get a plains from Assassin's Trophy. Those are important things to be able to do. Other than that, it's all 20 of our rare lands. And then over in the sideboard really quick, because this is a traditional constructed, I'll just go over the sideboard very quickly. 2 Negates, 2 Lava Coils, 1 Invoke the Divine, 3 Legion Warboss, the 4th Deafening Clarion, 1 Ixalan's Binding, 1 Cleansing Nova, 1 Niv Mizzet, 1 Nizal the Primal Tide, and 2 Star of Extinction. And I'll kind of, hopefully we play against some different decks in the meta, and I can explain some of my decisions. I by no means have this deck completely hashed out or know exactly how I want to sideboard yet. This is just kind of a starting point for me. I've been playing the blue-red control deck that has Niv Mizzets in the main for a while, and I don't enjoy playing that as much, so I thought I'd try this out. So we're going to go ahead and run this in a traditional constructed event. Yeah, we'll just pay with gems. Ooh, looks like we were already in one. I'm just going to resign this one, just because I'd like to start fresh. Any sweet cards? Not a chance. Alright, let's get in there with the new blue red deck. And play. I will leave this up after it's after the live is finished, but I probably won't edit it into multiple videos just because I wanted to do this as a one-off. Plus, this standard format's about to change pretty quickly here in January when we get Ravnica Allegiance. So, also, if anyone's in the chat, let me know if this background sound from Arena is a little bit loud. I will play first. Love that selection. Okay, so this hand's not perfect. I can deal with like a black-green mid-range deck for the first few turns pretty easily. The only card draw we have is in the form of expansion, which I don't like, but it's actually a fairly well-rounded hand, and we will have some time to find more resources, so we're going to keep it. And as usual, we're going to do the best thing that this deck can do. Ooh, looks like... What happened here? Huh. It says an error occurred on my live stream, but it still looks like I am live. So I think my YouTube is wrong. We're going to do the best thing this deck can do on turn 1, which is a tap Shockland. So, Teferi is a good draw. I have no clue what our opponent's on. That's a watery grave, which is kind of weird. Discovery we're fine with. This is Esper, so I think we're going to see a Chromium at some point, probably. This could be a build of the deck that's running a Disinformation Campaign, which I don't love. If I'm going to play Disinformation Campaign, I'd like to do it in a deck that's more aligned with that playstyle, so I'd like to cast Nicobolus alongside it, but we'll see. I really like this music, so I'm going to put some background music on. So Gift of Paradise. So we have 4 color. God knows what I'm playing against. This is interesting. And this is not in ranked, obviously, so we're going to see some stuff we don't usually see in the ranked ladder. Another Gift of Paradise. I wonder if I just try to cast this Cleansing Nova on enchantments. If it gets countered on the way down, I almost rather have that countered than a Teferi, I think. But he's certainly got the counter magic for us. So that's kind of a weird one. 4 color. Oh yeah, I have no clue what we're playing against, guy. Let's see here. Let's play my favorite game of do you have the counter spell? It might be correct to play Teferi first. I'm not sure which is more valuable here. He didn't have it, which means he's on normal mana. Chemist's Insight's fine. It'll give us a chance to get our Teferi down. If he's playing some type of a Turbo Fog deck, we're going to have the time to try to find some counter magic for Nexus of Fate. But it's a Lich's Mastery deck? Is that what it is? Do you know something I don't? As usual with Teferi, we're just gonna pretend we have negate even though we don't. Alright, I want to err on the side of caution and play pretty conservatively, but I don't know how much time we have before. Like, is this just going to be a crazy Lich's Mastery deck? Is he going to start casting Nexus of Fate, I really don't know. We're just going to pass the turn, though. I could just cast Chemistry's Insight, but I don't think we want to do that here, so I'm not gonna. He's gonna. Is it worth copying? Probably not. I'm just gonna let that resolve. He doesn't know this, but he can totally cast Nexus of Fate. Apparently, he did know it. We just let it happen, I guess. We are on 1 blue, which is unfortunate. So let's see what he tries to do. He basically just casts Think Twice. Is what that felt like. Search for Escanta. We will likely be bouncing that. With Teferi. Well, it depends. Let's see if this Chemistry's Insight rolls. See what happens. Insight, please. We're digging for a second blue mana, and then some additional counter spells if we can find them. Okay, that's not bad. So that's kind of a blue mana source. What do we have for the graveyard? 6. So we just kind of have to deal with this search right now. Because what's going to happen in a deck like this is the search is just going to keep finding take turns cards, which we don't want to deal with at all. And then we'll get in with Field of Ruin. And is there a mana source I can attack that's good? Probably this Watery Grave. Yeah, we'll do that. We're going to find out if this guy plays a basic swamp. And I would like another basic island. Well, mission briefing's fine. Yeah, we're fine with mission briefing. I don't know if he was trying to like uncover a search for Escanta, but searching is not an option with Field of Ruin, so he's gonna shuffle the search. At that point, I think we can just pass the turn. Getting rid of one of these Deafening Clarions, because we are going to have to discard to hand size in this game. Chemistry's Insight. We probably just keep letting him draw cards. As unfortunate as it is, it's really bad to waste our counter magic on Chemistry's Insight, unless it's a copy of Syncopate. That's kind of good, but we don't have that right now. For anyone watching from over at my main channel, Pipe Dream Hookah, and was wondering what I'm smoking, because I smoke hookah, I'm smoking Alfakir Lemon Mint with some Stone Mint in there from a brand called Alchemist that's kind of come and gone. Alright. So, Nexus of Fate makes me a little uneasy to cast this Chemistry's Insight. But it turns out if I don't start developing my land base, he's going to outrank me in lands, so we're just going to cast this Chemistry's Insight and kind of hope. He's going to cast him. Okay, so we're not getting Nexus, which is really good. Alright, now we just need the blue mana to back up the amount of counter magic we have, so let's see if we can do something about that. We can, turns out. Turns out we're good at this game. Turns out Teferi is good at this game. We're going to have to discard a hand size. There's nothing I really want to cast, so we will do that. And I'm going to get rid of another Deafening Clarion. Seal Away does a pretty good job of fogging Chromium if he happens to have one, which I don't think he does. But I will opt to keep a Seal Away over a Deafening Clarion. Oh, I have to discard 2, that's right. Lava Coil seems pretty bad. And now we've got Sabotage and Negate up, so maybe we can cheat the Teferi into winning the game for us. I don't know. We'll see. Gift of Paradise, we're going to let these resolve now. He's already got as much mana as he can want, so we're not going to waste our 2 sabotages and our negate on that. Mission breeding. Let's take a look just to see what he even wants to do. Maybe he wants to discover it. We're going to allow that to resolve. How techy would it be if he had a Carnage Tyrant in the main board? That would be pretty sweet. Discovery results. The name of the game here is keep ticking up Teferi, protecting him, and not letting him resolve a take turns card if I can avoid it. A search for Azcanta is a bad omen as well. So there's the search. I think we're just going to counter it on the way down. Because that's actually worse than a single copy of take turns. Because it's going to find him all of his copies of take turns, which is really bad. And we want to hold our negate for mana efficiency purposes. Now, I'm going to bet he doesn't have a Chromium. It could be a bad bet, but because I have no clue what his deck's doing with all these colors. But we're going to get rid of the Seal Away and try to find more lands, more counter magic, more interaction. That's exactly what we wanted, an Arch of Orska. So, Tiki the Teferi up. Pretty good. Do we want to play another... We don't need 4 blue sources at the moment. But playing this Arch doesn't actually give us City's Blessing at the moment, so we're going to go Steven's tapped, untap it with Teferi. Discard Sacred Foundry. Because we have the next 2 turns of land drop set up. And Teferi's going to draw us 3 more cards if we do what we want to do with him. And there it is again. Search for Azcanta. Still awful for us. So for the sake of mana efficiency, we will Sabotage again. I think he's probably playing a creatureless deck. And Expansion's probably going to work as a copy of one of his counter spells, so we're going to Sinister Sabotage it. Now, if we had a copy of Field of Ruin, we wouldn't be as worried. But we don't right now, so we're a little worried. Discovery is fine. Yeah, it seems like he's just digging for take turns cards. He's probably got, like, Karns, Teferis as ways to win the game. He might even be playing Karn's Temporal Sundering. And this is also fine. We don't really care about this at all. And because of how far down he's tapped, I am going to go ahead and Chemistry's Insight here. Just discarding the Steam Vents because I'm almost certainly going to be drawing more lands over the course of the next few turns. So goodbye, Steam Vents. Resolve. Yeah. There's another Steam Vents to replace the one we discarded. How lucky. Alright, Teferi is going up again. This game should be just about wrapped up. We've got multiple counterspells back up. We've got 3 turns before. I'm gonna ult this Teferi, so... And we also have Arch of Orska up, so we're gonna be able to keep up with card advantage. Not that we weren't already doing a good job of that. We'll discard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 10 lands. Do we ever want to develop past 12 in this particular game? I don't think we do. So we're fine with discarding an island, because we actually like every card in our hand. We want the second Teferi to start, like, turboing the exiling of his lands. Once we ult this Teferi. Assuming he doesn't, like, have Ixalan's Binding and, like, 7 negates in his hand. So there's another Nexus of Fate. We could counter this. That is something we're capable of doing. But since he only has 4 lands untapped, I think this is kind of like a Chemistry's Insight is what he's really casting here. And I don't know that we want to counter this. And we don't. We're going to let that resolve. Keeping him off of Search for Azcanta is one of the most important things we can do here. Other than that, he's going to be casting, like... What gets bad in this matchup is when they start to cast more than one take turns card in a turn cycle, and they start to take multiple turns. That gets really hairy for us. We're going to sabotage this. We're going to win any kind of war at this point. He doesn't know that. Chemistry Sensei, it's fine. We do not care about that card. What's going on, Nate? How you doing, man? We don't care about Revitalize at all, it turns out. So no Teferi for you. And me? I think I would like to draw an extra card if you only have 3 mana up, so we're going to do that. Alright, so we're just going to keep to the Teferi plan, keep drawing those cards. Yeah, so both of these copies of Expansion Explosion are going to copy his counter magic. Sinister Sabotage and Negate are going to counter any problem cards for him, which is why we're functionally in a position where we actually can't lose anymore. We are just going to Revitalize, because we're going to get a Teferi trigger. We may as well see if we get, like, I don't know, a Syncopate. It'll help us decide what to discard. And now we can safely discard Steam Vents instead of develop our mana base, which isn't something we're super worried about, but if you're playing a Blue Blaze control deck, developing your mana base is half the battle. Ooh, Reliquary Tower. Dispersal. Well, no. That can't happen. Mana efficiency? Yes. Well, at this point, I don't have to be super efficient, so I'm going to negate it. I see what the black's for, though. He'd like to be able to cast his Dispersal copy of Discovery Dispersal, which makes sense. So I know that for the next game. Again, we're just going to keep letting this happen. Our game plan is actually to deck him using Teferi's Tuck, so he's just making that happen quicker. 1, 2, 3, 4 mana up, nothing he can really do, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I can safely do this, so we're going to tap our mana manually, just in case there's something that I'm not thinking about right now. But we probably didn't need to do that, but we're going to do that, just to make sure we have Sinister Sabotage up. And now we are 1 turn away from doing the thing. For any of you people who haven't really watched a lot of Magic, or you're not super into the metagame of Standard over the last, gosh, it's probably been like, with Teferi, like 6 months of doing this. Teferi can kill your opponent simply by embleming, knocking out all of their lands, then tucking himself repeatedly, so you can never draw your whole deck, while watching your opponent draw their whole deck and lose. Which is a good rate. We are not going to untap any of his lands with Teferi, so let's not do that. And let's discard this useless Settle the Wreckage. Nexus of Fate, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana up. Do we just counter this so we can hurry up and get this Teferi emblem off? I think we do. Although we will burn the last piece of counter magic in our hand, so if he has another one, we're kind of stuck dealing with it. Maybe we just let this one resolve. Yeah, we're just going to let it resolve. Because he can't just dig for more of them, hold for just naturally drawing cards. Mission briefing. Yeah, that's fine. What is it going to do? Try to dispersal me? That's actually kind of bad. I did not foresee this line. But no, it turns out I was just going to cast Discovery. So we're going to let him draw an extra card. Let's see if he's got another one. Search for Azcanta. We're going to let it resolve, because I think we're going to try to keep him off of taking another turn if we can. Yeah. Because now he's down, so we got a Teferi. So we can't let Teferi resolve, it turns out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana, but he could take an extra turn if I let it resolve. But if I let it resolve, it's going to bounce my Teferi and take us off of our game plan pretty heavy. So we are going to try to counter it. Maybe he tries the counter battle. That's what we'd really like to see. He's going to concede because his hand doesn't have what it needs. Okay, so that's pretty good news because I didn't really want to grind that any longer. I'm going to treat this as if I'm playing up against a control deck, and I'm going to try to go under him if I can. I do not want to deal with any search for Ascanthus. There is something to be said about Cleansing Nova wiping all enchantments, but I think 1 might be the correct number, not 2. Ixalan's Binding, yes. Hit his Teferis. Negates are a big yes. These all in Niv-Mizzet are obvious selections. So basically all of this removal is what we're not going to bring in. See, we're going to take out all of our removal, because he's not in red, so I don't foresee him trying to go directly under us. The Fight with Fire combo might be asking for a little bit much, so we're going to take the entire combo out of our deck. What else? No Deafening Clarions, pretty weak card in the matchup. Same with Settle. I'm going to keep 1 global removal effect in, just in case his sideboard's doing something I'm not foreseeing right now. The Mirari Conjecture might be a little bit gimmicky. I don't know. We want all of our counter magic, and we need to get rid of 2 more cards. You know what, let's get punished a little bit. Let's take out Revitalize, obviously. Just because we don't need the life gain, and we're going to have some amount of time to build up our mana base. And we'll lose this Settle the Wreckage. Maybe we die to a Chromium. That sounds bad, though. I don't want to do that. We're going to do it. We're going to see if I die to a Chromium, and if I do, we'll bring it back in. Two lands, 2 Ixalan's Bindings, and Invoke the Divine, Chemistry Insight, and Teferi. The biggest problem with this hand is there's like no lands. Ixalan's Binding being able to hit a copy of his Make More Mana is great. I've got turns. All I really need to do is draw 2 more lands over the course of the next 4. If I draw 1 in the next 2, I need the other land in the course of the next 5. Ixalan Bindings and Invoke the Divines are some of the better cards in the matchup, so we are going to reluctantly keep a 2-land hand. If anything were different, if we had like, that's not what we wanted to draw. If we were on the play, if one of these cards were less powerful, we'd probably mulligan it. But the risk versus reward, the reward for drawing all of our mana sources is very high. Look, that's a mana source. So if he goes to make mana, we're just gonna immediately invoke it. He doesn't, which is great news for us. We don't care about our life total, so we're going to stare at him, pretending we have Sabotage, even though we do not, in fact, have Sinister Sabotage. The game plan for this game is going to be roughly the same, except if we happen to draw a Niv-Mizzet or a Nizal the Primal Tide, we get to just win, which is really good. Specifically, we want to draw Niv-Mizzet because it can win without dealing damage. I don't know if they kept any fog effects in or not. Do we want to Invoke the Divine this, or Ixalan's Binding it? Because then that just makes this a dead draw. I think we'll see if he plays a land. Is this how he's hoping to develop his mana base? It looks like it. We're going to go ahead and invoke it now. Play a Clifftop Retreat, plan to Chemistry's Insight. Because if he's just going to miss land drops this game, that's very bad news for him. He makes a land drop, everybody. But the trick is he needs to keep making them. Or I'm just going to make one every turn from here on out, it looks like. I could just drop Teferi. That would be too easy, though. Because if I just drop Teferi, we run into the issue of Syncopate and Negate. And then him having a Teferi on the backswing. We can't necessarily do anything about the Teferi, but we don't want him to know that. So, we're going to pass. Ideally, he's just playing another blouse for his mana. He is, which is great news. I will absolutely Ixalan's binding that. If it gets countered, I have another one, and that means my Teferi wasn't countered, so that's even better news. So, we could cast his Chemistry Insight out of our hand, which is what we're going to do, but we could just hide it, and then Chemistry Insight discarding planes, but we don't need to do that, so we're not going to. There's something to be said for the play of playing Search for Azcanta first to see if he gets countered. But if his one counterspell is Syncopate, we are punished for doing that. And we have Expansion Explosion, so we're just going to guarantee that this Gift of Paradise stops being something we have to worry about. See, that Negate never happened, is the thing. We're going to negate his Negate. So I guess we'll just spend most of this game attacking his mana base, watching him try to develop. While we develop every turn, this game should wrap up pretty easily. I don't want to say that too soon. But if he can't make his 5th land drop here, it's almost a sure thing that I'm just going to take the game. However, the way he surveilled tells me he's going to play a land. Wait, did he? Did he surveil properly? Yeah, he did. So in this position, he's got 2 mana up. Let's play our Search for Azcanta, I think would be a good play. He could have another Negate. I could just drop Teferi and try to get a little bit greedy. But we're going to play Search for Azcanta. We're going to play a little slower because just because he's a little behind on mana means he's got other spells in his hand, and those other spells could very easily be counter magic. Like he could have kept a low land count hand based on having like 2 Negates and a Sabotage or something. Which is dangerous. Having lands is way more important. Oh my gosh. Well, there's a reason we played this on taps as opposed to one of our tap lands. So we are going to try to find a counterspell. He's doing the same thing I did to him, and that's just going to work. So, do I bounce this? Or do I start to draw cards? If I bounce this, he can't cast Nexus of Fate, which he doesn't know this, but I can't interact with it. So, and I don't think he deals direct damage. So, goodbye, Gift of Paradise. His Teferi. Which means I get to Ixalan's Binding. Which is kind of a play I wanted to try to set up at some point in this game anyway. So we are very happy to just do this. Goodbye, your Teferi. Now, what would be silly is if you had another Cleansing Nova, or something to interact with the Ixalan's Binding in general. Invoke the Divine. Nope, just a Gift of Paradise. We're taking a target. That feels bad. Well, that results. So, maybe he just gets my other Teferis. Which means I can totally get this Teferi out from under my Ixalan's Binding, I guess, but it leaves me with 1. So maybe he tries to hit, like, one of my creatures. At this point in the game, a Legion Loyalist still may win the game. Or a Legion Warboss, rather. He does get the remainder of my Teferis. And we've got 3 Sacred Foundries, which we do not mind discarding to Chemistry's Insight. And I do apologize. These mirrors are fun to play, but I know that they're not necessarily fun to watch. That's and he's all the primal tide. Let's play my favorite game. It's called How Many Fogs Did You Keep? It's a good game. It's one where we don't make a land drop because we want to keep the search for Escanta and discard all of our lands if he tries to drop like a mass removal spell. He's gonna take turns, but while he takes turns, I think I will draw the Syncopate and counter it. And Syncopating Nexus of Fate is kind of a good thing, because it doesn't go back into his deck, so it's gone forever. We win. Okay, we won that probably just off the back of him not being able to develop his mana base game too. But that is a win for us. 350 gold, and that was a pretty long one, so hopefully this next game we don't have to play against a Turbo Fog deck again. But before that, I'm going to go set some more coals up because I smoke hookah while I stream, because I'm a hookah fiend. And that's what I do on my other YouTube channel, so I will be right back. And while you're waiting, you can enjoy this sweet black brick background. And this music. Okay, and we're back, and due to some advice from a buddy of mine who's watching the stream, I put my thing up here, because, well, now, you,
Okay, we're back, and due to some advice from a
Perfect. And that's just going to go into full inception if I let it, so I shouldn't. Guy, I don't think I heard any type of reverb, but tell me if you hear the same thing. But I think we might be good. So I was told that there might be a little bit of a reverb issue with my sound quality. So tell me, take this into the other room and tell me if you can hear the same thing that you were hearing. Because it is totally possible. Also, you might be hearing Inception right now. Guy, I don't think I heard anything. Is that cleared up?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me if it starts up again. Alright, so we're going to go on to the next game, just dealing with some technical stuff, because I am a new streamer. Let's play the next round. Hopefully we don't get another Turbo Fog matchup. Tough doesn't look like he's going to play, or she, or yeah, he or she is going to play a Turbo Fog deck. Are you Tough? Only one way to find out. So my opponent's going to go first. I've got the hand that deals with everything, so we're going to keep it. It just doesn't deal with a control mirror. That's the one thing we can't put up with very well. So we're going to hedge on not seeing that. And if it is a control mirror, they just mold to 5, so, and on the play, so yay. Who needs to play good Magic when you can win? Alright, Tough. Drakes. First impressions, he's playing Drakes. Now if he plays a white land, it's a mirror again. Which means we're really glad they mulligan down to 5. But I think I'd rather play this specific mirror we're playing right now than another Turbo Fog deck, because that's just... It's a very anxiety-ridden matchup for me, because at any point they can just start going off. So the good thing about Search for Escanta for them is they're going to be able to filter and try to find land drops, but if they're finding land drops, they're going to have a very limited amount of resources. I think they're just on the stock version of the control list, although pairing Search for Escanta with Crackling Drake has always just felt kind of weird to me. Let's go ahead and gain the life and do the things. We have a Search for Escanta, and we could just play it. We could do that. But they probably play Negate in the main board. That's the only thing we're a little afraid of, is a copy of Negate. And they've mulliganed down so far, I don't think we can just sit here and wait around to see if there happens to be a Negate in their hand. Plus, if they negate that, they're not going to negate the Teferi. There is something to be said for waiting a turn so I can go back-to-back search Teferi. I don't know if that's proper or not, but that is exactly what I think we're going to do. It does give him an extra turn to draw Counter Magic, although I think he's going to try to draw lands if he can. But if he has like the Negate or something, I'd rather it hit Search for Escanta. There's an Arch. Nothing wrong with a little Arch of Orska. Let's play the Search. See if he has the Sabotage. He doesn't. So we might be safe for Teferi next turn too. So in this matchup, normally it's quite difficult game 1 because they can protect their Drakes so well, and they're hard to go under game 2 and 3. So this is a matchup I'm still struggling to learn a little bit. But in a situation like this where they're like having trouble developing their mana base, it doesn't feel so bad. Blink of an eye. Do I want it? I might. The utility of this card, the utility rating of this card is pretty high. So we're going to take it. Is it good? I'm not necessarily sure if it's good in this matchup. But we're just going to ship the turn. I could have just tried to play Teferi there, but he may have foreseen the play of drop Search on turn 4, drop Teferi on turn 5, and he might be playing around that. So I might be overthinking the levels in this matchup. I might be overestimating my opponent's mental fortitude. But that's where I would be if I was on the receiving end of this. So I'm gonna blink of an eye the Search for Escanta to see if we can get him low on mana for a turn here. So if he counters it, outstanding. And if he doesn't, outstanding. Two things that are outstanding, because I'll have to use his next turn to play Search for Escant. If he doesn't naturally draw a land, he'll be down to 2 mana. Let's see here. Can you see all of my opponent's lands? It turns out you can. So there seems like they're having a bit of an aneurysm trying to decide whether or not this should resolve. We are kind of racing a Niv-Mizzet coming down. Not that we don't have ways to deal with Niv-Mizzet. We just want to be pre-established before letting them draw like 3 cards off of Niv-Mizzet. So we have the Ionize, which means we are going to be casting Teferi. We don't necessarily want this land just yet. So we're going to grave it. And then we're going to play this Arch. And then we're going to play this Fury. This could be some weird variation. Ooh, that's not the way I would have tapped my mana. Oops. This could be some strange variation of a Drake deck, which makes me a little afraid of Shock. But I still think, with this other Teferi in hand, this is just proper play pattern here to eliminate his way to further develop his mana base. So if he wants to take his turn to Shock, or whatever, that's fine. We don't really mind that so much. Because this appears to be a weird Drake deck with counter magic. He could just be off of white, though. He did mulligan to 5. You've got your boy, you know him, you love him, Crackling Drake. So we will actually keep the Steam Vents, just because we are interested in making our land drops. Tick up our good old boy Teferi. I don't hate Fight with Firing this Crackling Drake. Now, if we try to seal away it and he basically dives down and hits the Teferi, that isn't the worst thing in the world because it gets through a dive down. And this Fight with Fire is much better at dealing with a Niv-Mizzet than Seal Away is. So maybe we take a turn and wait to see if he has it. Because he honestly might just not have it. It's kind of hard. I did play land, right? No, I didn't. I'm glad I caught that. Yeah, I don't think we're going to Fight with Fire. I think we're going to try Seal Away and see if he has Dive Down. And if he does, let's see if we can get it to work. Jacob Dillon, what's going on, buddy? We're just playing a little constructed event over here on Magic the Gathering Arena. We are in the second game. We won the first one up against Bant Nexus, splashing black so they can cast both halves of Discovery Dispersal. Guy, if you're watching this, and I assume you are, flip my coals. Alright, so he's gonna come in with that Crackling Drake, and we're gonna try to seal it away. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, we would really honestly like to get a copy of Dive Down out of his hand, because Niv-Mizzet's coming at some point, and we need to be able to deal with it. So let's get a Dive Down going. Or not. That's even, like, if he just doesn't have it, that's even better. Or if it's a counter spell, that's even better. But the best thing is for him to just have nothing. Break his ankles and get piano. So it's Ionize, so that's the second best thing. So goodbye to Fury. Which brings us up to 5, so we're almost at flipping. This is Search. And there's his Search. This is funny. Do we just want all of our Teferis? Do we want to cast this Teferi and then get rid of his Crackling Drake? Is that our play? Is that what we would like to do? It might be. I think it is. That's what we're going to do. Because when we take down our Teferis, there's a much higher chance that they just die in this particular matchup. And we really do want to flip the Search for Escanta, because even though he mulliganed down very low, Niv-Mizzet is a problem for our deck game 1. It's like a serious problem that we have quite a bit of trouble answering. And we don't want to struggle, so we're not going to. Break his ankles and pee on him. Yes, that's a good idea, Jake. That does seem like something I should do. You're so depraved. So strike. So he's got 2 cards in hand. And we're really glad we kept the Teferi. And we're probably going to flip this Search for Azcanta. Unless it's another Teferi. Let's see here. Why are you looking at my Search for Azcanta? Can you even interact with that? No, you can't. I'm going to flip it. Yes. So we're flipping our Azcanta. Our mana base looks really nice now. And we do, in fact, have the City's Blessing, which is also really nice. So we have Arch and Search going. The hard thing here is, do we cast Teferi? We don't have any other action going on, so if he has the counterspell for Teferi, but he did cast 2 Ionize and he's down to 2 cards in hand. And if we do cast Teferi, we do have the ability to cast Chemistry's Insight after the fact. How many Teferis have we gone through? The answer is 2, which makes me a little uneasy, to be honest, to cast this Teferi. So I think instead we're going to pass the turn. Because in a deck that's probably playing Spell Pierce as well, it could be difficult to use the Fight with Fire, Expansion, Explosion combination to kill them with damage. He's almost certainly going to try to cast his Chemistry's Insight, which we don't really hate. One of the cards he's going to draw is going to be Crackling Drake, and then he's going to see 2 more. Is he going to flip his Search for Azcanta? He certainly is. Do we want to, like, Chemistry's Insight to see if we can't find, No, we already used our Blink of an Eye, so I don't really see a reason to cast Chemistry's Insight. Other than to maybe counter this to keep him very low on cards. Maybe that's just exactly what we do. Maybe we counter this to keep him low on cards. Or we try to find the counter. But if we don't, then we look kind of dumb. No, we're just going to let it resolve. We're going to let that flip. And now we might have ourselves an actual game. We are pretty far ahead, though. The Cold Wizard's here. Thank you, guy. While my opponent tries to figure out what the hell to do with their turn, I'm going to put some Colds on the bolt. I will be back in just a moment. I'm just trying to make things delicious over here in the hookah. There we go. Okay. Where were we? I assumed we were trying to do something productive. Oh, look, the Crackling Drake. Now we will cast Chemistry's Insight, just to see if we find our One of Essence Scatter or something. We're gonna sabotage. We might sabotage it if we find it. We don't, so we're gonna let it resolve. We may end up just Fight with Firing this thing. If he hastes it, that would be a shame. I don't know if it kills us necessarily. Well, it doesn't kill us. I don't know how much further behind it puts us if he does give it haste. So he's not going to give it haste. So I would love to select my best card from the top of my deck and draw it. Although, do I need these Deafening Clarions? Do I just cast Chemistry's Insight while I have the quick moment to do it with my mana? I don't think I need both of the Clarions. I don't think there's going to be a point where I cast both. So maybe I do though. Maybe he's got multiple drakes. I'm just going to use the Search for Azcanta. I'm a little bit paranoid. It might be better to just use the mana efficient route of casting Chemistry's Insight. But then again, what if I really want one of my Deafening Clarions? What if that is something I want? So we've got Sabotage, Expansion, the Morari Conjecture. Well, Expansion puts us on combo kill. So does the Morari Conjecture. We're going to take the Morari Conjecture. It's kind of a weird card to take here because counter magic is a good thing typically, but I don't know. I really like being able to just kill them. Let's see here. What do we have for magic in the graveyard? Oh, we've got Blink of an Eye. This is what we can buy back with the Morari Conjecture right now. Is this supposed to fire the Crackling Drake? And buy it back with the Morari Conjecture? Probably. Yeah, we're gonna try that. We're gonna fight with Fire Crackling Drake here. So that's a very dead Crackling Drake. And then they have used 2 Ionize. The Syncopate's gone. They've already used an expansion, so let's take the time to try to drop Teferi. Is that our best play? I think it is. He's only got 3 cards in hand. I don't see it getting any easier to cast this Teferi. If he casts Niv Mizzet next turn, it would be nice to be able to tick down Teferi. That would kill the Teferi more than likely. Let's just play the Teferi. Maybe I've walked myself into a corner. I'm not really sure here. They're thinking really hard. They're in the tank. They're in the tank. Okay, there goes Teferi. They're down to 2 cards in hand. We really prefer it if Niv Mizzet didn't come down this turn. We can try to deal with it if it does, but we would enjoy if it did not. It's just a Rails Eric. Still kind of sucks, but it's just a Rails Eric. Took up Rails Eric. So at this point, we haven't seen a lot of counter magic. I think we dug through one piece of counter magic, but we want to find counter magic to back up this combo we are about to try to fire off. There is a Crackling Drake. So, I think I would like to use the Mirari Conjecture while I can resolve it. Guaranteed resolve it at that. And then, I think I would like to buy back Blink of an Eye. Just to avoid taking a ton of damage from this Drake. So we will buy back Blink of an Eye. And then, in order to kick it, I can have 2 mana up. So at that point, I think we'll just pass. And if he just goes to attack in with a straight 8-4, 9-4, 10-4 Drake, we might just take it. Because I'd like to find some counter magic. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If we can get like this land and a Sinister Sabotage, it makes it much easier to resolve the kick, fight with fire, kill combo. So you can learn a bit about what they're taking, what they put in the graveyard, and it's a land, so it could just be the better land, or it could be like a significant spell, like a counter spell or a Niv Mizzet. He's coming in with the Crackling Drake, so we're going to take 8 from the Crackling Drake. We're likely going to bounce Teferi, or Rails Eric, maybe. He's going to opt after combat. That's really weird. Okay. He likes it whenever it is. There is a search for Escanta. I mean, we don't mind the second one so much. Niv Mizzet the pair run is a pain in the ass. We can deal with both of his creatures, so we will in response kick Blink of an Eye on Rails Eric. We have the negate, so he's not going to be able to dive down into the business and just kill us outright. We should probably take this fight with fire back, because it's part of how we win. Play out this here island. It'd be really cute if we had a copy of Expansion Explosion, because we could just do it here, provided the unknown card doesn't happen to be some type of a, what would you call it, Spell Pierce. So he's going to draw 2 cards off of the Deafening Clarion double that I'm about to deliver. Which isn't the worst thing, because I am just going to deal with a Niv Mizzet and a Crackling Drake and try to fight with fire him next turn with negate backup. So let's just go for it here. Let's tap our mana properly, though. We want that, and we could really use... Well, we did it already. Well, we don't need to do it, though. That's a fine way to cast this. I'll just do it. Deafening Clarion. I will deal 3 damage to each creature, and all of my creatures will have lifelink. And you sure will draw 2 cards. And bring me down to 9. I don't know what he said good game for. He seems pretty sure he's going to win. Or maybe he is fairly certain that I'm going to just fight with fire. I'm not sure what his angle is there. So here, we're going to do it again. All of my creatures, again, will have lifelink until end of turn. And he will draw another card. And there they go. And we will end our turn. Given the option to either Chemist's Insight or search for Azcanta next turn, I think the correct option is to Chemist's Insight for card advantage, in case this Fight with Fire combination does not go off the way I want it to. If he plays Ralzeric, we're going to allow it to resolve, because we are going to have him down at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana, meaning he'll have to have like Ionize Negate to interact with my Fight with Fire combo. So we'll reroll that. The only reason we're being so liberal allowing Ralzeric to resolve is because we've seen 2 copies of Ionize and 2 copies of Syncopate already, so he's used at least half of his counter magic, which is pretty good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, but an expansion is actually what we'd like to draw. So maybe we do use Search for Azcanta to try to find an expansion, because then we will just win the counter war when we try to go for the kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. 9 mana is what it takes to kick it, and if we can find a land, we can Expansion Explosion and, well, no, I think we still Chemist's Insight, because we need the land too, right? And it's more likely that you draw a land off Chemist's Insight than Search for Azcanta, it turns out. Some would say it's infinitely more likely. So he's going to Ionize that, which is truly odd selection. He has just killed himself. Unless he's got, like, double Spell Pierce. So, here goes nothing. Let's make sure I have the correct mana open after doing this. Blue. Colorless. Blue, blue. Red. Red. So that's 6. Yeah, he gets it. He understands what I'm doing. Ooh, one moment. I have to take a call. Hello. What is up? Yeah, that's fine. I'm streaming still, but that's just fine. Okay. He is. I can. Okay. I love you. Behave. Bye. Sorry, you can't ignore a call from the girlfriend when she calls. Okay, so my thinking on sideboard is my Niv Mizzet and my Nidhal are probably very good. Invoke the Divine might be very good. He plays Search for Azcanta, and that's about it. I can still discard it to Chemist's Insight if it comes up. I know I want these negates. These lava coils are probably pretty good, because it allows me to not wait for them to untap their mana, so I think it beats Seal Away by a little bit. I don't know if this is a necessary Invoke the Divine. What we're going to take out is these Seal Aways, because they are a little bit awkward. We are going to take out a Deafening Clarion, because the combination of needing to cast 2 is a bit awkward. We can copy it, but we only want 1. We're going to be on the draw. Syncopate is a little less good. Ooh, we got to hurry up here. Revitalize is, we're going to take these out just because we have all the tools now. We are going to get rid of the Mirari Conjecture. 3 more cards. Maybe Cleansing Nova isn't super necessary. As a multiple Blink of an Eye is not that great, we'll get rid of a Cleansing Nova. And ultimately, I think we will go down a single copy of Sinister Sabotage. Why? Because we're running out of time and I have to take a call. Again, this is a 61 card deck, which is why you see me sideboarding down to 61 cards. It is illegal to have a 16 card sideboard. Alright, opponent. We have Sacred Founders, Steam Vents, Clifftop Retreat is our mana base with Fight with Fire and Ixalan's Binding. 2 Teferi here, Dominaria, it's a bit of slow hand. We're going to keep it. Because we can deal with, like, Ixalan's Binding is so good in the matchup because they've got 3 creatures they can actually use against us. And being able to take out one of them nulls, like, almost half of their win conditions. Which is great. So we'll see what happens. Are you just going to opt right now? Don't want to get Spell Pierced. It's a Siren Storm Tamer. Guys, I didn't see this coming. This might be bad. We're going to play the steps. It may not be that bad. Like, if they just play like an Enigma Drake or something on curve, we're not super worried. I did not foresee the Siren Storm Tamer, though. So, wow, I really wish I had another blue mana. I could just play Search for Escanta here. You know what? I can't actually afford not to. I just need to be playing spells here, trying to get his hand size down so I can deal with his creatures, and if we get syncopated, we get syncopated. But we need to develop our mana base, so this is the best time. It's a negate, that's fine. Alright, I'm throwing all caution to the wind here because I'm looking at a Siren Storm Tamer right now, which maybe that's a new tech that people have moved on to, although if that's the case, I had no clue. We're going to play Sulphur Falls because now we can totally sabotage the next spell. And we are not going to try to kill the Siren Storm Tamer right now because, to be honest, it's a little bit unnecessary. Because if I play a Crackling Drake right now, that's awkward because I'm just going to Ixalan's Binding it. So Settle the Wreckage. I'm glad I kept one. We're probably not going to Settle the Wreckage of Siren Storm Tamer by itself. So we will play a Sacred Foundry tapped. And I hope to draw another land, to be honest. Our ideal play pattern is for them to go Crackling Drake, thinking they're going to protect it with Siren Storm Tamer, allowing us to follow it with Teferi. Ticking up Teferi because this Crackling Drake will be nowhere near the size it needs to be killed Teferi, unless they burn like all the cards in their hand, which is great, because we'll deal with the things on the way back. So that's what we want. That's the game plan. Draw land is usually the game plan when you're playing a deck like this. You're gonna come in. 1 Storm Tamer, please. So we're gonna take that to the dome, go down to 16. Do you have a follow-up play? Please play something. No follow-up play. Okay, this is a Field of Ruin. Do we play this Teferi to like make an attempt at baiting out more of his hand, because we have 2 Teferis, and we do need to start making things happen because we don't have any lands in our hand, which means that we may not make some land drops in the future turns, although they've missed a land drop as well. I don't like Fight with Fire in the Siren Storm Tamer, but I also don't like getting hit for 120 single times. If I play the Teferi and he gets countered, then he plays a Crackling Drake, and I try to Fight with Fire it, he protects it, and then I've got Settle the Wreckage, and there's not a lot in the graveyard. We're just going to play the Teferi. See if he's got that counter magic. If I didn't have the second one, I wouldn't be risking this first one. He's thinking really hard. I hope I'm giving him an aneurysm. Oh, there's the thinking bars. So he's going to sink it. So there goes 1. Well, Teferi, you did let him win. You got syncopated, and it's your fault. I want Teferi to know that it's his fault. So, are we going to see the Crackling Drake play? So the Siren Storm Tamer nickel and diming us isn't what we're actually worried about. What we're actually worried about is what happens when he plays a Niv Mizzet with 7 open mana. That's our worry. Better than him going Insight at end of turn. That's a good point. We're going to fight with Fire the Siren Storm Tamer. It seems a little bit weird, but if he has like a counter spell, cool, we're glad he's using it on that. And if he doesn't, then he can't just like freely drop Niv Mizzet or Crackling Drake without any repercussions, so let's do it. Fight with fire? I would like to kill Siren Storm Tamer. Would you like to dive down your Siren Storm Tamer? Would you like to counter it with Siren Storm Tamer's ability? Yeah, we really did not want to see an Insight at the end of that turn because we are technically ahead on resources right now, which is a very good thing. Now the question is, if he Insights here, do I counter it? The answer is yes, I think. Because I'd like to make another land drop too, and I would like it if he didn't gain a resource advantage on me. And we're cool with this Chemistry's Insight actually. We're going to leave it on top of the deck, even though it's not a land, because we want to be able to cast it twice, not just once from the graveyard. And we don't necessarily want to discard any of our cards. So it's going to be awkward to put it into the graveyard just to make a land drop. So what is he going to do here? So we have a Crackling Drake. 2 cards unknown in hand. We could Ixalan's Binding and get just face rolled by a copy of that one boy. Dive down. So I think what we're going to do here is cast this Teferi and see if this one gets countered. Just continue to try to like milk him for card advantage. And if Teferi does resolve, we're going to opt to tick up, hopefully finding a copy of land, and then settling the wreckage when he attacks. I think that's the game plan here. That's what we're going to try to commit to. That's not the land we were... See, we need to get better at manually tapping our mana. Now, we could minus on this Crackling Drake. That is a play we can make. Is that the play we make? Because you get just as burnt by dive down when that happens. Although, if we try to bounce he dives down, then we do have the Ixalan's Binding, but we wanted to kind of reserve that for a copy of Niv Mizzet. So we're going to tick up, which could be the wrong play. But if you find a land, that's a good thing. That's not a land. That's a Lava Coil, which is a piece we're looking for. And here we are going to do that, because we want to represent Sinister Sabotage. The worst 3 cards he could have in his hand are Basic Island, Dive Down, and Niv Mizzet. That would be the 3 worst things he could have in his hand right now for us. I really want to play against like black-green mid-range or something to get a game to go better faster. Aiden, what are you doing today, buddy? How you doing? You chilling? You guys playing D&D tonight? Oh, he's not going to attack. That feels weird. Because I don't have a white mana up. So it's not like I'm planning to steal away. So... start with Lava Coil? Yeah, we're going to start with Lava Coil. Please don't tap those lands. Why did it tap those lands? Again, I need to get much better about manually tapping my mana. Because it'll tap lands based on what's in your hand, which is kind of a tell. It doesn't feel very good. So with that just dying, we're going to take it to Teferi, and it's not going to matter. But he probably is pretty sure I don't have a Sinister Sabotage at this point. He doesn't know that this isn't a Sinister Sabotage, so that's pretty cool. Next, and turn, untap my 2 lands. You'd probably like to flashback this Chemistry's Insight, and I don't blame him. Because he's kind of between a rock and a hard place right now at this Teferi, only 3 turns away from exiling all of his lands. And that will kill him. So Essence Scatter, I'm glad he's getting rid of that, because maybe I just draw a Legion War Boss. And I think he probably removed all of his removal from his deck, because he didn't see a single Crackling Drake or Niv Mizzet, so he might be like holding on to some way to deal with a Niv Mizzet, but I doubt he's got a mana efficient way to deal with a Legion War Boss. This Lemon Mint is super good. If you're watching this, and I know everyone that's watching right now, so if you're watching this on the Reebok broadcast and you don't partake in hookah, come over to my house. I'll make you a hookah. Explosion? Well, that's no good. We're gonna try to weasel our way out of it, and this time we're going to manually tap our lands and pretend to know what we're doing. Show me Sabotage or Syncopate. Neither? Okay, well, Teferi's gonna get docked. Yo, did Teferi just straight up say, want me to phase you out of time? Because that's kind of savage. There is no time for a break. You should be drawing cards. Do your job. Let's get a Steam Vents into play. Tapped. Let's maybe pay 2 life and cast a Chemistry's Insight now. To make my hand a little bit better and have mana on his turn. Let's try that. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna go Field of Ruin. We're gonna go Island. We're gonna go Sacred Foundry for red because it doesn't matter, and we're gonna go Steam Vents for blue because it doesn't matter. We're gonna flashback this Chemistry's Insight, and we are going to be discarding a copy of Deafening Clarion to it because we don't want that card anyway. And he just took his time to fill his hand up, so I think I will too. With no counter magic and my unwillingness to bluff it, I'm going to cast the Search for Azcanta. Planning to flip it pretty quick. We got that and that, which means we want that and that. So Lightning Strike, he would like to kill this Teferi. And I think that's a good investment of your mana. Because his Lightning Strikes are doing anything, and I'd really prefer it if they didn't hit Legion War Bosses. Or Legion War Boss. Although if he didn't have the second piece of Burn Magic, that seems like an odd use of Lightning Strike. Unless like he's trying to cast a creature that he would prefer if it was not -3 by Teferi. I don't think that's a good enough creature to try to do that with, but that's just my thinking. We don't want that. We got plenty of lands. We will take a Lava Coil. Glacier Fortress. We're gonna take up Teferi. We're gonna deal with this Iron Storm Tamer because I never thought about this, but Iron Storm Tamer is a very good card to play next to Niv Mizzet and Crackling Drake. I mean, Deafening Clarion, just the most efficient way to do this because it doesn't kill anything else, so we're gonna cast it. And all of my creatures will gain lifelink in addition to dealing 3 damage to each creature. Would you like to counter it? Oh, you can't because it doesn't target. Would you like to Ionize? Thank you very much. And now, like you do with Teferi, we're going to untap these lands. Okay, so the game plan for this entire game is going to end up being, because he's doing a pretty good job at keeping Teferi's down low enough, is going to be trying to find a copy of Nizal or my own Niv Mizzet. It's good that we've been able to hold these 3 cards specifically, because his Niv Mizzet will be a problem for me, if and when it does come. It's going to be something we have to worry about. But he's just going to strike the Teferi, which is fine. I love how Teferi talks mad trash talk even when he's dying. So, we're going to flip our search for Azcanta now. Yeah, I mean, we'll take another Teferi, and we will transform. Now, there is something to be said for just doing this now, and being able to do nothing, really, because I suppose that I won't be able to find a functional counterspell to use alongside Teferi. Well, it could be a negate, and I could play this land. So we are going to fire off Searching with Search now. Chemist's Insight, we'll take what we can get. 3 in hand. I guess I'd rather him use his counterspell on Teferi than an Ixalan's Binding if he's holding on to a Niv Mizzet. I really would prefer that, so we're going to cast the Teferi. Normally, if this is like game 1, I wouldn't be just sacrificing my Teferis, which it didn't end up being anyway. But I wouldn't be doing that, but I have Nizal, Legion War Bosses, and Niv Mizzet now, which kind of changes the flow of my play. So we'll play the Plains out instead, so we can have another Search for Azcanta trigger, or Azcanta the Sunken Ruin trigger. We can put that on the stack and find more things. Although we have to be careful about how much we use this from this point on, because we are kind of looking for creatures. So we're at a point where we're going to use it because it's a resource, but we're going to have to start tracking the bottom of our library so we can start to selectively go get things, since we can't activate this twice in a turn. Which is something a lot of control players I've played against overlook, is kind of keeping in mind what's at the bottom of your library, because when you have a Teferi out, you can cycle through your library. At this point, that's 8 cards per turn cycle, so I can cycle through the entirety of my library in 2 turns. 2 turns is what it would take. 16, well, 4 turns technically. Yeah, 4, 8, 8, 8, and 8. Which is not a lot of time when you're just trying to find a Nizal. It's nothing. So he's going to kill this Teferi and draw a bunch of cards. I'm just going to let that resolve. Not that I could do anything about it in the first place. So we are looking for a creature at this point. Hello, Rachel.
How's it going?
I'm streaming. How about you?
Oh, you're playing Magic again?
I am playing in Magic together.
Whoa, Magic.
Very. Whoa.
So cool.
Too cool. We are gonna flashback Chemist's Insight, discarding this land because we like all of our. Wait, that wasn't even a flashback. I just hardcasted that. What am I talking about? A second Ixalan's Binding. That's not bad. So okay. So now I'm the one with an expansion explosion. Yes, he did. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can expansion him for 8. Make him draw 8 cards. There's very little ROI on doing that, so we're not going to do that. What we will do is see if we can find a creature. Discarding Steam Vents. Neither of those are a creature, which is a shame. We did find a counterspell, so that's good. And then hopefully we can deal with this Niv Mizzet somehow, that I know is coming down because he just drew 6 cards. The question is what to discard, and I think the answer is a single copy of Lava Coil. Oh, I gotta discard 2 cards. So we are gonna get rid of the Lava Coil, good. And we are going to get rid of probably just Settle the Wreckage, because it's the most responsive removal spell. Or is it just 2 Lava Coils? No, it's Lava Coil, Settle the Wreckage. That's what I like doing. So he's going to play a Search for Azcanta. That's fine. We have our Field of Runes, so that's not so bad. Now if he casts Niv Mizzet, there's a pretty good chance I can deal with it, so this is an interesting line. So here we are certainly going to be activating Search for Azcanta, keeping in mind that the creatures we see we need to stack towards the top of our library. We're going to take a Sabotage though, so it didn't matter. So we're getting to the point where we're going to start finding creatures. Speak of the devil. So let's do it. Like, let's just get a Legion Warboss out there. How is it going to tap my mana? The way I would have done it. Cool. If he counters Legion Warboss, this is one of our better creatures. It's much better if we just get him with it really early. There's also something to be said about holding it back in case we lose this game. But he's better on the play than he is on the draw anyway. So we're just going to try it. We're going to try to get in there. Oh, what's up, little dude? Get in there, little dude. We're going to get him for 1. And then next turn, if he doesn't do anything, we're going to get him for 5. And then 7. And then you can see how that math works out. It kills you pretty quickly if you don't deal with it on its own, which feels awesome. Alright. So we're going to have to field around the flipped Escanta basically at end of turn no matter what.
How are your nerds?
They're good. I think my viewers are people you will know, so.
That's...
Yeah, I got Jake Dillon, Idner Natovic, guy who's watching, Nate Baker. Nate from the tabletop group.
Oh.
Yeah. So here is the Niv Mizzet Parent.
Are you playing against any?
We have to let it resolve. No, this is a league. So I'm playing against random people playing in the same traditional constructed league. It's like a best, it's first person, either 2 losses or 5 wins with sideboard games. So we are going to be activating.
Maybe I'll paint the minis.
You should paint the minis. That was my girlfriend. She paints minis. I don't know why I'm saying this here because I know everyone watching, but you all know Rachel. She's good at painting. What have I done? I don't want to do that. I would like that if that wasn't tapped for mana. I would like to activate this, and I would like to destroy that. Rachel wishes most of you a Merry Christmas. Wait, what have I done? I'm in full control. I have to stop that. That's what I get for being distracted. Why am I tapping for 4? Whatever. There we go. I'm bad at being distracted. It's not one of my strong suits. So now if he goes to use his Search for Escanta in response, we will have some action against his dive down, which is good. But we're almost certainly going to lose the War Boss. Although 29 cards to my 25, we're in a game where we could, after dealing with enough of his resources, just try to get him to deck out using our expansion explosions. So I've come to the conclusion that we're playing against a deck that really isn't heavily played. This appears to be a blue-red control deck, just no white, which I think is something I'm surprised I haven't seen more of on Arena, because you need 20 of the blink of an eye. Well, that's fine. You actually need 20 rare wild cards to make the mana base, so there's that. Blink of an eye is fine. We're gonna resolve it because he's gonna shoot this down, and if I counter, he can just shoot this down. So it's the better way. And Ixalan's binding this is going to be great. And he's using a Blink of an Eye, which means he's not using an Ixalan's binding. Now we just have to see what he wants to deal damage to. Is it me? Is he going to try to race me? I don't think he's in a position to race right now, so I think it's probably correct to get this 1/1. Just to keep the board clean. Because he's only bouncing this War Boss, which means it's going to come back. There you go. There's the War Boss target. Or there's the token target. Well, this Blink of an Eye is going to resolve, is the thing. You can totally do that. Because I am going to try, and because of the mana you have untapped, succeed in exiling your Niv Mizzet. Yes, that was a strange move you've made. I agree. Oops, indeed. Oops. Goodbye, War Boss. Draw a card, deal damage to me. See, his better play would have been to bounce the token. And he's dealing damage to himself, which means I think he's prepared to throw the game, which is what's going to end up happening anyway. He's put himself in a truly strange position. I should have activated Search for Escanta, but I think at this point it actually doesn't matter, because this is an Ixalan's binding. Goodbye, Niv Mizzet. It was good seeing you. But I don't want to see you anymore, and I'm glad you're gone. Legion War Boss. We have 3 counterspells functionally that we can cast 2 of, which isn't the worst thing. So we're going to get in there with this 1/1. It sucks when your opponent is playing fairly tightly for the whole game, and then they appear to go on tilt and throw the game. So what I'm referring to there is when he used that blink of an eye with the Nip Visit out, there was a way better line that involved killing the Legion War boss. But instead he did that and he has to concede because there's no way he's going to get through this because he can't ever cast another Nip Visit again. Yikes. We win again, 2-0. Let's continue. I'm hoping to see a black-green mid-range deck, because that's something that my deck... I prefer the matchup, not because it's great or anything, but because it's interactive and exciting. I'm going to keep this. It's just a generally good hand. It's got things for all the matchups, and like literally all of them. Like, are you control deck? Are you a hyper-aggressive deck? Are you Drakes? Are you mono white splash for a Danto Vanguard? Splash red with a Danto Vanguard, I should say. So, we just need to draw into some of our CMC4 or greater spells, and we'll be in good shape. But instead, it looks like we're playing something weird again. So, I guess we'll just keep drawing lands and passing the turn. It's a shame we haven't seen any aggressive decks. The commentary for these weird, grindy control mirrors is a little bit, it's convoluted to try to explain what you're doing in real time. Just because a lot of the stuff is based off past experiences playing matchups like this, and sometimes it's hard to put into words why I'm doing certain things that I'm doing. But mostly I'm just trying to play a game of attrition with my opponent, and trying to stay on top of that means kind of jumping through mental hoops in real time, which can be a headache. I hope that wasn't, that was probably very confusing for me to say. That probably didn't make any sense, but that's okay. So they're playing Grixis, which means I think we're going to see disinformation campaigns and Nicol Bolas's, which, if that's the case, I prefer that over a true control deck, because that is an interactive matchup, where these control matchups are very draw-go, and then there's these big, like, resource trades later in the game. And whoever's better at trading the resources and who's better at evaluating a resource's value is going to win that matchup. We have a Karn, except for we don't have a Karn. Now I'm very confused. You don't see Karn in this type of a build a lot. Well, yes, we will. And he may just get Vraska's Contempted, but I think he's going to have those no matter what, and I need to get them out of his hand. Syncopate. Oh, what a shame. So we'll untap the good ones. Pirates Pillage. Yeah, that's fine. So I think I know this deck. I can't remember the name of it, but it involves a disgusting thing they do with treasures. Speaking of treasures, there's the map. So here's a treasure map. It's probably just gonna get bounced by Teferi, to be honest, because that thing does get dangerous pretty fast. What are we gonna get? We're gonna put it in the graveyard. Deafening Clarion's a bit of a weak card in the matchup, but that's okay. We don't necessarily need to bounce this right this second because it's not going to flip immediately or anything. So I think we will take the time to try to gain a couple more resources before we neg 3 Teferi. That's great. Pass the turn. We did just play a land, right? Well, that's going to resolve. If this is anything like the list like this that I've seen, he's probably going to play like Mission Briefing to... I did play land, right? Yep. He's going to play Mission Briefing to copy the Pirate Pillage from the graveyard. Or to give it a flashback, I suppose. That's going to resolve. But we are going to bounce that treasure map before it actually cannot flip. Because they can usually get away with murder when they have a treasure map flipped with all that mana available. The Elders Reborn is a hard no. Expansion Explosion. We may just want it for the card advantage, so we are going to keep it. And since he can't flip it immediately, we're going to take yet another turn to take up the Teferi. We're going to keep this. We're going to tick up Teferi. We're going to play probably this Sulphur Falls. Yeah, I like Sulphur Falls. And then we're going to end the turn. There's really no reason to like main phase expansion him because it's not like we're actually looking for any extra card advantage since we've already maintained card advantage for most of this game. Resolve. I said resolve. Now, if I can draw counter magic, there's something to be said for just like taking up Teferi again to Emblem. Because after he emblems, there's just about no way he's going to come back from the game. But we will see. My turn. Let's see what we get off search. Grave that. We've got 5 in the grave. Something falls. So, I don't have any counter magic. So whatever he wants to do with this treasure map once it's flipped is fair game. I can't really interact with it in a meaningful way. If he's playing something like Div Visit, I don't want to just give him the ability to cast that. So as tempting as it absolutely is to just ult this to Fury, I don't know if he will. Now, if he does flip treasure map, he's only going to have access to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana, which I don't know what he can do with. But he's also playing Vraska's Contempt, so he may just be slow rolling it. Let's go ahead and -3 the Teferi, get the treasure map. It's not really what I wanted to do, but it's what we're going to do. Player land for turn, pass the turn. Maybe if he taps out, we'll get a little mini expansion in for card advantage. It's a dispersal, he's tapping out. Can he do anything that I just can't handle next turn? Not really, so we are just going to go ahead and expansion him 4/4. And then when we return this Teferi to hand, we can discard something useless like this Sacred Foundry. And now we have to discard another card. It's going to be this Deafening Clarion. Alright. So now I'm really glad that we did that with Teferi, because he could have just he could have dispersed anyway. He's shipping the turn. Well, we're going to grave that. We're going to flip that. And we're going to play that. And we're going to ship the turn, because if he downs my Teferi, he's almost certainly got a way to counter it all the way back down, and I don't have a reaction to that. So pass, pass, and now we're going to start firing this off, and it doesn't seem like there's much of a way to come back from the position that I'm currently in. Take a Syncopate. My turn. Clifftop Retreat. Just play another Search for Escanton and not discard the hand size, because we're not going to play the Teferi still. Because of the Fight with Fire combination we have in the deck, we don't actually need to like always maintain a Teferi in play. And because I'm certain that he's holding a Sinister Sabotage right now, we're just going to wait. Explosion for 2. Do we care about it? I think we kind of care about it. We care about it enough to counter it for 2 mana, so we're going to. Let's get rid of that. If he goes to cast this treasure map, we're just going to dig, see if we can find a Sabotage, because it is a pain in the ass card. Alright, so one of those, and one of these. Activate. Sub-sabotage. We'll take the sabotage. We'll give it a shot. He's going to concede. Okay, well that was a pretty easy game. These matchups are really weird to sideboard against. I think I can go under him. Maybe I'll save that for game 3. He doesn't seem to be playing a whole lot of board state. I didn't see any copies of Disinformation Campaign. That doesn't mean he doesn't have it, but if he's playing Pirate's Pillage, let's bring in Negates. For sure. Invoke the Divine, absolutely. Ixalan's Binding. Cleansing Nova does deal with the massive artifacts he's going to have, but I don't know if I want more than one. Actual win conditions are going to be good. We'll wait on the Legion War Boss in case we lose game 2. We can surprise him game 3 with that on the play. As far as we're taking out, these CLOAs can go. We'll take out a single copy of Revitalize. It's not super necessary. We didn't see anything we could Lava Coil, so we'll take that out. In this specific case, we're going to keep the Fight with Fire combination in. We'll lose 2 Deafening Clarions, and we're going to ship the deck exactly like this. Opponent goes first, and we have 6 lands and an Expansion Explosion on our hand. We could Expansion Explosion their Pirate's Pillage or whatever it is. We're on the draw. We've got so much time to come up with resources. I'm going to keep this. I don't think this is necessarily a great keep, but I also don't want to look into 6 when we're not actually looking for anything specific other than like some pieces of counter magic. A second Expansion Explosion, whatever, man. Maybe we get Thought Erasure. It's just a treasure map. Alright, so if he goes Pillage, we're going to plan to copy it. Thought Erasure. We're going to copy that. Do we copy that? If we copy that, we could use the Scry. We want to see what's in his hand. Yeah, we're going to copy it. We'll let him get our last instant or sorcery. But first, we're going to see what's in his hand. Okay, so we have no lands, which means he's going to try to find them, which is a dangerous game he's playing. An additional copy of Treasure Map. Karn, the Moroi Conjecture, Expansion Explosion. What's the best permanent to get? I think we're going to get Karn. It seems like we should get Discovery, but with the Resolve Treasure Map, he's probably going to find a way to make land drops. So I think we're going to take the Karn, probably, just because we can't currently deal with it. So let's take the Karn. Yeah, we'll take the Karn. And then we'll keep the Sabotage on top. Let's go Clifftop and ship the turn. Probably gonna try to find another land. I wish I could just like counter lands. There's a land. A second treasure map is coming, right? Do we sabotage Discovery? I think I'm going to, for the Surveil and to just keep him hunting for lands. Because if I can find a way to deal with that map, we're in pretty good shape. And I really didn't want to draw Deafening Clarion, so that's fine. Okay. See, now I'm really hating that I shouldn't have played that land, because excuse my hand. Now I'm really hating that we just kept a hand with 6 lands, but that's what we get for being a little bit greedy. A second treasure map. Let's go Cleansing Nova. No? Okay. We'll play this Plains and pass. So we see the Moroi Conjecture, we saw Eldest Reborn, treasure maps, treasure tokens. I think for game 3, which we're probably going to see, because I got greedy and got punished for it, is we're going to bring in the Legion War bosses in addition to extra Cleansing Novas. We'll take out the bad stuff. The bad stuff being our extra copy of Deafening Clarion. And then we'll take a look. There's some other stuff we don't want in there too. Teferi, what's up, Teferi? How you doing? We gotta take up, right? Yeah, we're gonna take up on Teferi. So the wreckage is kind of okay. Play planes out, untap these two. See, if he wants to, he can kill my Teferi. He can do it by attacking it and then expansioning it for 2, but that may be a poor use of his expansion explosion. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, they just no, never mind. They get it. It's a their ability is it's +1/+1 for each artifact you control. They should have seen that. The Mirari conjecture. What are you gonna buy back? Our best draw right now is absolutely Cleansing Nova. That's not a Cleansing Nova. We'll play this for a couple more turns, but I don't see this getting any better for us. He's going to get a sorcery back, and that's going to be a copy of Thought Erasure. We will concede. So we got greedy and we got punished for it. Took our first loss. So here we go. We don't want that. We'll keep a fight with fire just because he does play Karn too. We'll get rid of the Settle the Wreckage because I don't plan on letting that happen again. We'll lose a single Syncopate. And I suppose we'll lose an additional Revitalize. And then we're going to bring in Legion War Bosses. And we're going to bring this Cleansing Nova. And it'll be 61. And we're going to try it like that. Alright, I'll play first, please. This hand looks so much better than the last one did. We wish one of these was a Sinister Sabotage, but we can still do things, so we're going to keep it. One more land, we get Chemistry's Insight, and if Visit's probably going to be a pain in the ass for him to deal with. If he doesn't have the Eldritch Reborn, so let's do it. Now, Thought Erasure is a pain in the ass card, but there's no getting around that. You can't just mulligan hands just because you got good cards in them, which is something I sometimes ask myself if I should do, because I can just get Thought Erasure, but that's almost never the move. The Search for Azcanta, however, is the move. A very good top deck. He would like to do nothing. I would like to keep that on top of my library and get an island going. Is he going to do nothing again? Okay, I guess I'll just keep selecting resources and playing lands. No Thought Erasure, no Duress. That was pretty lucky for us early on. So is he going to Pirate's Pillage? He's going to Pirate's Pillage. As an additional cast, you have to discard cards, so this feels super good. Because it means he lost a Pirate's Pillage, which is good for us. We're going to keep that on top of our library. Blink of an Eye can blink Teferi, so I think we're going to safely play it, even if he does have an Eldritch Reborn. And then we'll untap these two. There's an Eldritch Reborn. I think we do enter Teferi, so we probably will just bounce the Teferi. Come back, Teferi. I miss you. We will grave this specific land. just because we would like our search to flip at some point soon. We're going to play Teferi again, even though it's into a second Eldritch Reborn. We'd rather Teferi get Eldritch Reborn than it did Visit. So let's tick up Teferi. I could see ticking him down for the Eldritch Reborn, but without a counter spell to hit it on the way back down, and his ability to cast Discovery Dispersal, I'm not ready for it yet. So I will just opt to discard the Chemist's Insight to it. We'll untap those two, and when it activates, we'll discard a Chemist's Insight. Just because we do want to make the land drops, and there's no way we're discarding the Visit, we're going to make him force that out of my hand. It's just a Karn. Does he have a target for the Eldritch Reborn? You can have one of your 2 Dragon Spell slots. He does not, so we're just going to let that Eldritch Reborn go off. We're going to keep that on top of our library because it's a good one. We're going to put the Arch in play. We're going to tick potentially down Teferi on this Karn. I don't know that we have a good way to deal with the Karn right now, and we can't just keep letting him gain value off of it. So we will tick down Teferi on Karn, Scion of Urza. And then we are 1 permanent away from the City's Blessing, so we'll just plan to use Steam Vents to get City's Blessing, and we'll cast Chemist's instead of an end of turn, so we can flip Search for Azcanta as well. And that should put us in a position where we're hard to deal with. That's a Mirari Conjecture. He can get back. Opt! Let's cast Chemist's Insight Response just to be safe. No targets, so that happens. Now the Mirari Conjecture, cloning cards like Pirate's Pillage is very bad for us. So it's probably going to be tick up Teferi, tick down Teferi. Legion Warboss. Interesting, for sure. Don't think it's what we want at this point. I think there's other things we're trying to do right now. So Sulphur Falls will activate the City's Blessing. Teferi is going to go... hold on here. Do we want to cast Visit first and then take up Teferi? I kind of feel like that's what we're going to do. We're going to do this. It might be a little greedy, but I don't think that it... oh, we can't do that. I played the wrong land. Look at me being bad at Magic. So we're going to take up Teferi. And then we're going to activate Azcanta, because that's proper play. We are going to end our search and be happy we're not drawing into those 4 cards. And we're going to end the turn. We're going to see what we can do. Alright, we're going to untap Azcanta itself and probably just the draw a card land. Just so we have options available. So he has his Karn back. Do we care about Karn? I feel like the opponent don't care about Karn. He's going to buy back the Pillage of the Pirates. When he goes to cast it, I do think we are going to make an attempt to search for Azcanta to counter. The Karn, on the other hand, we actually might not care about as much. Maybe? Maybe we don't care about it as much? Let's activate the search for Azcanta now. So we got Syncopate. Well, we're going to take Syncopate. We're going to allow the Karn to resolve, but not a Pirate's Pillage. He fights for his friends. So what do we got? What do we got? You can keep Watery Grave. How about that? It's a 4-drop, so I can Syncopate it regardless. Which means he's probably going to hold it back and try to clone it with the Mirari Conjecture, which is a fine play. There's really nothing wrong with doing it that way. I've got different plans for him. What is the combo that this deck does? Because there's a combo involved, and I'm wondering if it makes sense to use He's got 3 unknown cards. The Mario Conjecture is going to let him cast Pirate's Pillage twice, which is an actual problem. I think we're just going to go for broke here. I'm going to have to wrap this up. Maybe I'll have to wrap this up before the actual event ends, just because of time constraints. I'm playing against a lot of real slow decks, which I think happens when you're outside of the ladder. In the ladder, games go quick. But outside of it, it tends to be a little bit more difficult. So let's get Nivy Miz down. Let's tick up to Fury. Let's shoot down Karn a little bit, just because we do want to kill him at some point. And then I guess we'll just end the turn. If I knew more about how they're going to try to win with Pirate's Pillage, I probably would have bounced the Mario Conjecture, but I don't know if he has all the pieces necessary, so I don't want to be too cautious, if that makes any sense. I suppose I'd like to be able to activate that. Just gonna take Thought Erasure. Cast spells, man. Okay, so he's going for something here, pretty clearly. I don't know what it is though. I imagine he has to lead on Thought Erasure, just to see if the coast is clear. If he does, I'm going to expansion Thought Erasure, draw 2 additional cards, deal 2 to him. Negate whatever the problem child card is. I have to be careful about how I tap my mana here. So, we're going to hit Karn. We just want to kill Karn and get him out of the way. And I think we'll be able to do that over the course of the next turn. So we'll do that. And then we will clone. We'll clone it. Yes. Get that going. There's a chance I should just be damaging his face. I'm not really sure. He's going to Explosion. He's going to target... I'm going to target Karn, I guess. The Explosion is not going to resolve. So we're going to negate that just straight away. Is that the Explosion? I think it is. Resolve will hit Karn. Alright, let's see what it does. That's fine. I think you're in a bit of trouble, dude. There goes Karn. Thought Erasure. Target an opponent. You! What's in your hand? All those things? You don't get to have that anymore. I don't think I need this. So he gets to Thought Erasure me twice now. I don't know if it matters. It actually doesn't. I think we just win the game, period, here. Nimbus is going to do his thing. That's going to go, oops. Deal damage to you. Teferi's going to go, oops. Trigger off Niv Mizzet, deal another damage. We're going to smack him upside. Yeah, he just concedes. That's a good move. So we win. That was a weird one. I'm not really sure what he was going for there. Probably some crazy deal like a ton of damage off the back of like copying stuff. Maybe he was trying to get 1,000 Year Storm or something. we've got 3 wins. Maybe we just try to finish this out. That said, let's open a pack, and then I'm going to take a quick 10-minute intermission. I didn't need another Sacred Foundry. Turns out I already have 4, but that's not a bad pack. I get a common wild card. Pack 1, pick 1. Scarlet Legionnaire. Not bad. Okay, I will be back in just a few minutes. I'm back. Sorry about the extended break. Let's turn that down a little bit. Sorry about the extended break. Had some company in the house, had to say hello to. But we're back. And for any of you watching this in the rebroadcast, I do intend to put start-stop times in the description. So this is 2 hours, 31 minutes is when we're back. So let's keep that in mind. And let's go back into our traditional constructed, playing blue, white, red. We're at 3 wins and 0 losses. Are you still watching this? What a trooper. Thanks for watching, buddy. I do appreciate it. We're going to be starting on Twitch and stuff soon. Nothing serious. I just really like playing Magic and I like making content. So this is fun for me. Hopefully I get better at it as I go. Opponents first. We have a definite clear on a Chemist's Insight. We're going to keep it. This is not as greedy as that one hand I kept from the last game. So, here we go. Black-green mid-range, I hope. Ooh, turn 1 Duress. Get that Insight out of my hand. He's probably not the Clarion. He might be on like a Golgari mid-range with like weird tech or something. Nope, he gets the Chemist's Insight to keep me off of too heavy a card advantage, which is a good idea. Yeah, I'm glad I'm streaming Magic too, man. Hopefully we can make this a little bit of a bigger operation, because I have fun doing it. And I'm a tryhard. I try really hard to play good Magic. So he's going to keep the Jade Light Ranger. No fear of Deafening Clarion? Maybe he's going to ship it, I don't know. Okay, Seal Away is a fine draw. We're just going to sneak this Glacial Fortress into play and pass. I don't love Seal Awaying. Like, this is a card that comes out because of all the ETBs and ability to destroy enchantments that this deck actually has. But we do like access to it in Game 1. It has some utility. They do bring in a lot of the enchantment removal that they have, which is why it comes out in Games 2 and 3. We are not going to Seal Away the Merfolk Branchwalker. We will, in fact, be Deafening Clarion and the Merfolk Branchwalker, and the Seeker Squire. So he did ship the Jade Light Ranger, which was a good idea on his part. And now I will go. Ooh, a piece of counter magic. Well, I can't really afford to hold it up, but I don't think there's anything he can play that's overwhelmingly devastating on turn 4. Maybe a Karn, but I don't think so. So let's deal 3 damage to each creature, and all of my creatures have lifelink until end of turn. Ship it. Get a little 2-for-1 action in. Yeah, it's just a Midnight Reaper. We don't hate a Midnight Reaper when we have a Seal Away in hand, so that's fine. So we're gonna take this time to sneak in this tap Steam Vents. There was something to be said about holding it for Chemist's Insight. In fact, that would have been the better play here. The only reason I didn't is because I was so hyper-focused on the Midnight Ranger. We're going to allow that to resolve. Because I'm almost certain I'll be sealing it away unless he plays around Seal Away. But also, maybe I don't want to represent Settle the Wreckage. I don't know. It's probably correct to just drop the Glacial Fortress. Because we certainly don't mind like discarding a Sulphur Falls to flashback Chemist's Insight if he opts to just do literally nothing at this turn. He's going to cast Find. No. I'm going to say no. And I'll ship it, see if I can find its Fury. Because if I place a Fury and take him up, I can Seal Away this on the way back. But if not, I'll just gladly Seal Away it here. Pretty happily. So let's see what he drew here. A Memorial. I'm glad I had this Field of Ruin. So, Field of Ruin, I can do both. I can have my cake and eat it, it turns out. So the big thing we're afraid of now is like a top deck Carnage Tyrant. That would be hard to beat for us in this position. But as of right now, we're in a relatively low pressure situation. That's a Jade Light Ranger. We should be able to find a way out of this little hole we're in here. We should be able to. Sometimes you don't. You gotta imagine he's gonna keep that Vivian. Yep. Coming in, bringing me down to 8. And then we're gonna ship this island, honestly, to see if we can find a way to deal with some things. Exelon's Binding is the hell of a start. Okay, that's a Teferi. How do we sequence this? What is our best route? Priority Drought Teferi Tick Up, force him to attack him with both creatures. Using Chemist's Insight. The issue is, we would like him to attack the Teferi if we can get him to. This bad girl right here is for sure going to destroy the Seal Away. If I cast Exelon's Binding, it's going to destroy the Exelon's Binding. I don't mind the Seal Away being destroyed for a turn, but I do mind exiling one of these and it coming back because that came into play. So this is just what we have to do. We're hoping we can find like a Settler Wreckage or a counter spell. Now let's think for a second. Do we actually want to like minus on this? So he has to go like Vivian. No, we got a plus. We need to search for resources. Not the ideal resource, but we still have routes out of this. Ooh, not gonna kill the. Oh, they are gonna kill the Teferi. That's very smart. I was gonna say this. Might be a little greedy. You can't really let this stick around for too long. They may have a Vivian destroying the Seal Away, which is bad. We have to. The next 3 cards of our deck have to be pretty powerful. Not gonna destroy the Seal Away. That makes me feel weird. It's another Jade Light Ranger. Here we go. Get rid of the Sacred Foundry because it hurts us when we cast it. Or when we play it. So there's our Vivian Reed. We're not going to die to this, and we don't care about being at 1 life at all in this matchup. So we're going to play our land, and we are going to absolutely be Exelon's Binding Vivian Reed. Let's do that. And then the turn after, we're going to be using Cleansing Nova to clean up the board, holding Sabotage to deal with whatever they may have coming after. A greedy player would cast the Jade Light Ranger, and they are. And I'm going to let it resolve because I'm going to do very bad things to my opponent next turn. 2 lands is great news. Boom. You like to go fast. What if all creatures were dead? Is all I'm saying. So we're going to kill all those creatures, and then we're going to ship the turn, holding up Syncopate, Sinister Sabotage, and Chemist's Insight. A Karn. What if there wasn't a Karn? We're good on the Sacred Foundry. Now, we are at 1 here, so like I said, there's no reach that this deck really has, but we preferred like them not playing a creature. They're pretty cool for us. We are just going to take this time to cast Chemist's Insight. Maybe we draw a Teferi. We don't. We don't hate the negate, though, so we'll end it. We do have the Arch of Orska ready to go. So if we do see a Carnage Tyrant, we may have an out. Our opponent is drawing lands. Kind of feel bad for them. Because they presented some good action in the early turns. But it looks like I'm going to be able to handle it. Search for Escanta. Yes, please. And then we will untap one of those and one of those. meaning that we can draw a card off Arch if we need to. They concede, I think that's the best play. It's pretty rough. They can usually sneak away with game 1. Games 2 and 3 I think get a little bit harder for them. Invoke the Divine because they're going to be casting Eldritch Reborn more than likely. And I would also like to be able to hedge against Argos Bloodfast if they are sideboarding that. If not, I can just discard it to my copies of Chemistry's Insight. Binding's good, Cleansing Nose good, Kneesal Prometide's good. I think I might bring in one of those. 2 of these bad boys are good. I don't necessarily like the Visit. I don't like the Extra Deft and Clarion. I'm probably going to bring in an additional Lava Coil because it kills almost everything. Like I said, we're going to take these out because we don't want their Explorer creatures re-entering the battlefield. That's very, very bad for us. We'll take out 1 Revitalize. We'll take out a single Syncopate on the draw, just for mana efficiency purposes. We are probably not... Maybe we do... I think we're going to try keeping the Mirari Conjecture combination in, Mirari Conjecture and Fight with Fire, because they have no way to interact with it and hold for trying to interrupt my hand. So we'll try to keep that in. We'll take out a single Sabotage, just because our turn 3 is going to usually be wiping the board that they presented us. And then from there, what else do we want to take out? We'll try losing a second Syncopate. We'll go hard into board interaction. These Star Extinctions are going to be priceless in the matchup. Let's go. Do you know about Twitch? I need you to come over and help me set up Twitch stuff. Because we do, so for anyone that watches this on the rebroadcast, or maybe one other person watching this is not one of my buddies, I'm a YouTuber, pre-established before doing this. I do hookah reviews and stuff. I'm a hookah YouTuber, which probably sounds super alien to someone who doesn't know about that type of content. But I also have a podcast, and we podcast on Twitch, but I'm not in charge of that, so my Twitch exposure is very low. So we got Slow Man lands, Revitalize, Syncopate. This hand kind of weak. Because we're on the draw, and because we have Revitalize, I want to keep it. It's a weak hand. I really wish like the Fight with Fire was a shock land, but we're going to try keeping it. Our opponent mold, does that change our choice? It makes it more embarrassing to lose with this hand of 7, but we're going to try it. We've got a critical mass of lands. We are a 27 land deck, so. And the Revitalize should help us a little bit. It'll also get us through these early turns. So we'll lead here. That's going to be a pain in the ass. Sacred Foundry is very helpful in this position. We're going to play it. We're going to pay 2 life because we don't want a Jade Lightning to come down at all. So we'll represent Syncopate, Bluff, Essence, Scatter. We're happy to Syncopate this. Get a little bit of value off of it, because Syncopate's much worse in the draw than it is in the play. Also, our opponent may have kept a 2-land hand based on trying to... Ooh, that was a big oopsie. Oopsie. Here, this thing, it seems weird, but it gets out of hand very quickly, since a lot of our ways to kill creatures are burn-based. So we're going to kill that. We don't want that anywhere near us, because it's going to start dropping Jade Lights and stuff soon. Karn. Ixalan's Binding. Hopefully it doesn't follow it up with a with this girl, Vivian Reed. We'll let you keep it guard Guildgate. And we'll scoop that up. Now, important thing to note, I have the Mirari Conjecture and Fight with Fire right here and here. So we are 5 land drops away from just being able to murder them, which is not a bad place. Let's have that enter taps. The best thing we're going to do is Chemistry's Insight end of turn. If they happen to have the Vivian... It's a Carnage turn, which isn't great for us, but we have ways out of Carnage turn game 2, so we're not horrified yet. Like an Expansion Explosion would be fine, but it's 2 lands instead. A Lava Coil is less than fine. What do we want to do here? Is it time for the Mirari Conjecture already? If we play it, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if we play it... Maybe we want to use it to get revitalized back next turn. Maybe we revitalize right now. Okay, so we're planning to try to kill them and fight with fire. And in a weird way, we're hoping to raise this Carnage Tyrant, which seems greedy. But I think that's our play. So what we're going to do is probably use Mirari Conjecture to buy back Revitalize to stay out of range, and then just sneak in a copy fight with fire. The first thing we're trying to do is find like a board wipe. But if that doesn't happen, then we need a plan B. We have a Jade Light Ranger, so now we really want to board wipe. We can just Lava Coil this, but we want to make sure to set up the things. Dundo, Memorial of Folly, pretty good. Let's get rid of this Sacred Foundry. Hopefully we draw like a board wipe. We got there. So here we are fine with going. Do we want to play? Yeah, we don't have a tap land in place. We're going to play that. I want to play that. And we're going to do Straw Creatures. So we are now at 7 lands. We've got the lands we need. We've got the Mirari Conjecture. So we are going to plan to hope they don't have hand disruption and a roll face. So that just happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They can't cast the Carnage Tyrant, so they don't win the race. And them not winning the race is great news. Because they probably think they're, we're just going to get the Carnage Tyrants, but they don't know how close they are to dead, is the thing. So if this Sulphur Falls, play a Mirari Conjecture. Hopefully it doesn't get destroyed. It might, but we have to hedge our bets correctly. Mirari Conjecture, buy back a copy at this point. Do we buy back the Revitalize spell? Or do we just buy back Syncopate? Syncopate's pretty poor. I think we just buy back Revitalize. That's fine. And then we are going to Lava Coil this Jade Light Ranger out of play because we need to maintain a life total. Bye, Jade Light Ranger. Now we're just interested in not getting hand disrupted. This is going to happen again. We'll take the Fight with Fire. We'll play a land. And we'll hope. We'll sit here and hope they don't disrupt our hand. I think is the only thing we can do. I wonder if they see it. Do they know that if they can't disrupt my hand, they are just dead? Yeah, I will hit up Calvin. I want to get together with Calvin. Maybe he can help me with some stuff. Maybe I can help him with some YouTube stuff. Alright. That's a good attack. But I don't know if it's good enough for what I'm about to do to you. So we are just going to Revitalize. Just in case. He wants to, like, Vraska's Contempt his own Carnage Tyrant. Because that is a play. And then we will take our turn. Get it? Alright, let's see if he wants to Vraska's Contempt his own Carnage Tyrant. He does. So he Vraska's Contempts his own Carnage Tyrant, which is the only out. He's going to go to 2. But now my Expansion Explosion is, if I find one, is incredible. So we got our opponent at 2. Play this tapped. And we'll ship the turn. Oh, you like my list? Yeah, this is one I came up with. It was heavily inspired from the World Cup first place Blue Red list, but it's slightly different. It's going to dress me. I imagine he just takes Search for Iskanta here to hedge against me being able to find an out even faster. So, but we've got things we can do. We're on a 2-turn clock right now. Why not? All of my creatures have lifelink, thank you. And again, all of my creatures do have lifelink. Let's see if he has another one. He's got the Memorial to Folly, so we need to find Expansion Explosion like now, because he can just Memorial to Folly, to buy back probably Carnage Tyrant, right? Yeah, Carnage Tyrant, Carney T. Doing it now for God knows what reason, because he can't play as Carnage Tyrant, so I have 3 turns to find the action that I need, and I'm literally 1 expansion explosion away from just killing my opponent. That won't do it though, so we're just going to shift the turn. Carney T enters the battlefield. And here I go. Ooh, we're hurting. Yeah, we were only able to deal with Carnage Tyrant twice so far. And it turns out that the name of this game is going to be deal with it thrice. So we'll see what we can do. So we have to pass and hope that next turn we just find the win. That's another Memorial of Folly, isn't it? My turn. Find it? Oh, that's not it. Do I have any outs? I don't believe I do. Yeah, they can do 4 life, so that's a concession. So we're going to concede. And that Vraska's Contempt ended up being very, very good. Let's see if we can do something similar. So at this point, because of their copy of, what's his name, that little cute boy, Wild Growth Walker, we're going to take in our Syncopates. And we are going to remove the Morari Conjecture, I think. It does buy back board wipes, is the thing I like about the Morari Conjecture, but I don't know if it's good enough. Fight with Fire is another board wipe from Walkers, so I like it. We're going to take it out, though. Not really, I can't really explain exactly why I'm taking it out. It's more so because I know that he can get up past 20 life, and the main usage of the Morari Conjecture is to go for the kill. Since I can't go for the kill in this matchup a lot of the time, I think I'm just going to hedge on killing him with Nizal, Arcane Teferi, and interacting with him to the best of my ability. That said, I think I do want to keep the Fight with Fire, so what else do I want to remove? Alright, any suggestions? Maybe I don't need both Syncopates. Maybe I don't need both, all 3 Sabotages. I'm just going to cut or Revitalize here. I could cut all of them, I don't think I need to. I like the little bit of hedging, because there are situations where the math adds up that the Revitalize saves me for a turn from Carnage Tyrant. So I'll keep it. It's not my favorite card. It's more for the hyper-aggressive matchups, just to get to those turns where I can actually start deafening Clarion and stuff for value. So we will certainly be on the play. One good one, please. It'll work. Because we have the best turn 1 play this deck has, which is Shockland Top. Shockland tapped. Opponent went to 6, which feels pretty good. Although their deck can juggle itself pretty well, so let's go Steam Vents. Tapped. And have Syncopate. For fucking Wild Growth Walker, to be honest. Unless I just get to rest, which I don't. Alright, Nizal is really good. It's the best card in the matchup, so because they can't really interact with Nizal, and it just kills everything, and it can trade with a Carnage Tyrant. What are they doing? So they kept a 1-lander, so they're dead. There's no way out of this for them. I don't think. Unless they just draw land, and they only stumble once. But this deck has trouble getting through stumbles. This is embarrassing. They should have gone to 5. I like winning. I love winning games of Magic. I hate having games of Magic handed to me. That doesn't feel very good. And this is very much handed to me. They're not going to be able to interact with us to Teferi. I'm probably just going to exile their 3 lands they're going to have in play total. That's not going to resolve. We'll ship that to the grave. We'll draw an arguably better card. We'll play this Teferi. Yeah, I don't know what they thought they were going to have time for. That was very bad. Squall is a very irresponsible Magic player. Sometimes you mold a 5, and sometimes that's okay. I've won more games than I can count with 2 hands on a mold of 5, and it's... Especially on the draw. Like, if you can manage your resources properly, you're alright. Grave it. Take up to Fury. Oh, look at Sacred Foundry. Do we Ixalan's Bind and the Merfolk Branchwalker? That's, like, do we do that? I don't know. We could let it live. Probably we're supposed to. Might be greedy too. Because if they do start drawing lands, they can have some type of play, and if I, like, get greedy, I could walk my way away from a win. But let's just do it. Let's... This Storm is Vintage is dark. I'm smoking some white mist for anyone wondering. Let's just exile this. Just keep the board completely clear. I'll just maintain my board dominance. All I'm struggling to find a way out of this Teferi. Playcrafter. That's a way out of Teferi. Although it's not a way out of this Knees All the Primal Tide. That's finna flip. So let's do it. Let's go Steam Vents. Shock. Your boy. You know him, you love him. He's gonna kill you. Nothing they can do will interact with this profitably. Especially if I maintain 3 cards in hand, which shouldn't be hard to do. That is just fine. I hope you draw 2 lands off of this. You don't? Don't keep that Playcrafter. You have to know what I'm going to do if you try to cast it. It's going to keep the Playcrafter. I guess I'll go. Yes. Is it fresh coffee?
Yeah, I just made it.
Sick. My butler's getting me coffee. I think we're going to grave that just because we have the Lava Coil. We're going to flip the Search for Azcanta. Oh wait, am I at 6? I'm greedy. I'm not going to flip it, turns out. We're going to hold our land just so we can not get Plague Crafted, but we're certainly going to Lava Coil the Jade Light Ranger and get in for 7. Coming in at you. I know you weren't still watching this one guy, but this idiot, this freaking idiot, beat me game 1, and then he kept this hand of 6 with 1 land in it. And as you can see, he has 3 lands, and I have 7 with a Resolve Needle. And he kept that Plaguecrafter on top like it's going to work. Well, we're going to exile this Knees All the Primal Tide, discarding all 3 of these cards.
Hi, my camera, it's me, the guy butler. Whoa,
Here, let me just
coffee.
give you access to that.
Oh,
Oh, Plaguecrafter resolves. I don't exile anything. You destroy that. I get Knees All back. And we're going to grave that and flip our Search for Azcanta. And now we're going to get you again. And that'll be it. Nothing he has does it. An additional, like if Vrask's Attempt's going to cause me to draw, then I'll just activate Azcanta and exile it, or I'll just counter it. I'll just counter another Plaguecrafter. There's really nothing he can do at this point. He's just going to die to Knees All the Primal Tide, and that's just the way it is.
That's the second time today you won with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a reason it's in the sideboard, it turns out. Victory!
How often do you use the activate ability?
I just used it this game. It's pretty regular in this matchup. It's one of the better cards in this particular matchup. So, that's 4 wins and 0 losses. Let's see if we can go for the full sweep.
Do you need calls or anything?
No, I'm pretty good on calls. Thank you, though.
Cool.
Full transparency, have you liked this? Do you like the stream? Is there something I should be doing better? Again, I am not a streamer. I want to be. I want to be a streamer. Especially I need to get good at this because the Aim Hookah podcast, we're going to be doing some streaming, some educational streaming, bull packs and methods and stuff like that. And it's probably going to be on Twitch and YouTube. So camera presence matters. And it's kind of hard because normally, like on a podcast, I've got Matt to riff off of. And on my personal channel, I don't have to worry about interacting too much. But here, it's kind of just me in the chat. And there's not much in chat right now, so I'm just trying to riff as best as I can. So, alright, we're going to keep this. It's a slow hand, slow mana. We've got what we need to deal with aggressive decks, and we're going to be able to deal with the first few turns from a black-green deck, it looks like. And we're on the draw, so one shock land is just pretty fucking good. So it looks like we're playing against black-green again. We're going to lead on Sulphur Falls, just because if we draw a Sacred Foundry, we want to be able to syncopate something. Stitcher Supplier. So is this going to be the Graveyard Golgari deck we saw a few months back? It is. I don't think it's very good. I'll just open up at that. I'll pay 2 life here because I would like to be able to syncopate. And then we're going to ship the turn. I don't know that this deck's super relevant anymore. So Norfolk Branchwalker is an easy syncopate. We don't want a Deafening Clarion yet. A lot of his creatures are going to be in range to be Deafening Clarion. So we're going to wait. Now he feels dumb for not dropping this land. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with control decks, we're playing a game of attrition where we try to get him to play resources and me to deal with those resources in a way that puts me out ahead on mana and card advantage. He's making it easy so far. He or she, or it. Don't want to assume, or maybe I do. Revitalize, pretty easy play here. 4th land, here we go. Nope, no 4th land. Okay, so we are behind on mana now, which is a bummer. We have a lot of the resources we needed to try to catch up, and we're not going to get run over by any means at this point in the game, so we need him to cast a spell for me to finish the Sabotage, so I can go ahead and scoop myself up a copy of a 4th land. And then hopefully a 5th, but this is a risk we knew we were taking when we kept the 2 check land hand. But as long as we don't stumble for more than a turn or 2, we're going to be fine. Well, maybe he was hoping I would, but I didn't, so let's keep going. If he buys back something with, like, if he tries to buy back, like, something, I will counter it on the way down and try to make my 5th land drop. Because once I get to 5, he's in a bit of trouble. So, Glowspore Shaman. I could sabotage that. But I think I would rather just Deafening Clarion on it. Even though I do want the land drop, I don't want it so bad I'm willing to use my only sabotage on it. Would you like to put a land on top of your library? So we gotta revitalize. We could do it. Like, we could revitalize. The dream is to revitalize into a land, and then Deafening Clarion, and then have 6 cards in hand. That's the dream. The risk associated with that dream is that we revitalize, we don't find a land, we have to discard, or we could just lava coil something. And we're not under a severe amount of pressure, so I think we're good to keep attempting to find mana. Although I did just realize we're going to need another white for that to work. Although I think we're more interested in the land than we are the Deafening Clarion, so it's perfect. Every time it's perfect. All of my creatures will have lifelink. Stitcher Supplier does its thing. I wonder if he's playing like Connive, Concoct. Mr. Guy Scott, my regal roommate, has supplied me with a cup of coffee. Molderhog. You're not good enough. That's pretty good, though. Alright, so where are we at here? Where do we need to be? We are at the point where we would like to... We want to destroy everything, but it turns out we can only destroy one thing. Right now it's just Guy. Guy's over, Rachel's over, she's going to do some minifigure painting. We're just chilling, dog, so if you're trying to swing by, I think you're good too. But here, in this position, I'm dead on board. And I don't like that. So, Teferi is kind of a no-go, unfortunately. I could Teferi and just, like, minus on this Molderhawk, but, like, if he drops a second Golgari Raiders, we're dead. Although, if I make the play I'm about to play, we're dead to Golgari Raiders. Anyway. So, let's drop the Teferi, minus the Teferi. We're going to hit Molderhawk, because that thing is not hasty. So, let's get that. Since we're dead to an additional hasty guy anyway. Play this tapped, and hope he doesn't have Golgari Raiders. Just a Playcrafter. I mean, Playcrafter's bad, but it's not so bad. Like, Teferi's at 1, it was going to die anyway. It was just, is he going to attack it or is he going to attack me? So here, we're going to hope that they don't have an additional... We're going to wipe his board. After that play, we are for sure just going to wipe the board. All of my creatures have lifelink. Golgari Raiders is dead. If he has another one, we're dead. Oh, you know what I just realized? 1, 2, 3. I'm dead anyway. I just screwed up. No, I didn't. If he has a land, I screwed up. Because he can buy back the Golgari Raiders of Memorial of Folly, leaving him with a total of 4 mana. I can counter it with Syncopate on the way down, but if he happens to have a copy of land, untapped land in his hand, we're in trouble. Although I thought that cost less. So it doesn't, we're okay. That's a good combo. I'm glad that costs what it costs to do. We need to not die. That's the most important thing right now. Not dying. I think the answer to this question is to neg with Teferi. Yeah, the addition of Molderhawk, or more so just Golgari Raiders, it's kind of an issue, because we can just die to haste damage. So yeah, I can see, like, this is a cool deck where it can actually present reach, unlike the normal black green deck, where when I stabilized at 1 life, I've stabilized at 1 life. There's not a lot of way to get around it. It's just what it is. A little Midnight Reaper action. It's pretty good. So here we are forced to tick up with our good friend Teferi. Expansion Explosion, not the worst thing I've seen today. We will likely be using Expansion Explosion to clock Midnight Reaper. Do we want to cast the Mirari Conjecture to buy back Syncopate or Revitalize right now? I don't know that we do. I think we'd rather counter whatever he has coming down and just be able to deal with the Midnight Reaper. You probably won't be able to deal with the Teferi. So I guess we're just going to do that. We're kind of not utilizing Teferi very well. We could have like abused Teferi to like deal 5 to something. But we'll see. So that is Mr. Playcrafter entering. I am not interested in just giving you my Teferi. Also, you're going to draw a card off of it, so we are happy to sabotage that. Do we want another sabotage? We don't. We actually want another land. Or a Deafening Clarion. Allow that to happen. Yeah, Molderhawk juggling Memorial to Folly is straight up abuse. It's very good. Maybe we did want that sabotage off of the back of our good buddy Chemist's Insight, I didn't think about that interaction. Getting to have my cake and eat it too. I think we're going to cast Mirari Conjecture here. And if we can use this expansion explosion to sneak our way into a fight with fire, we can steal the game, which is cool. But we're going to take a sabotage, because we'd prefer it if they couldn't just kill us.